Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Porter, and today we are going to be talking about plant versus animal cells. We will be using TEAC 4A, which is compare and contrast prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, including their complexity, and compare and contrast scientific explanations for cellular complexity. One of the questions you should be able to answer at the end of this lesson is what is the difference between plant and animal cells? First, let's review the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Eukaryotes have a nucleus. I like to remember U equals yes. Yes, they have a nucleus. Prokaryotes do not have a nucleus. Pro equals no. As you can see in the picture, animal and plant cells are complex, meaning they have membrane-bound organelles and they have a nucleus, so they would be eukaryotes. Bacteria are simple cells and do not have a nucleus or membrane-bound organelles. They are prokaryotes. Ribosomes, which is an organelle, do not have a membrane, so they're actually found in both prokaryotes and eukaryotes. There are 4 different types of eukaryotic cells, but today we are only going to be talking about plant and animal cells. Let's start with plant cells. The best way to remember what makes a plant cell unique is with the 3 C's. They have a cell wall, a chloroplast, and a central vacuole. As you can see, the cell wall is used for support, the chloroplast absorbs sunlight, and the vacuole holds water and removes waste. I remember vacuole removes waste because it sounds like a vacuum, which removes waste from a surface. All right, let's dig into the 3 C's a little bit more. Plant cells have a cell wall, which is used to support a plant and keeps it rigid as it grows. Think about plants. They usually stand straight up and can be snapped in half. That's because they have a cell wall. Animal cells don't have a cell wall because they are much more flexible. Think about your own body. Plant cells also have a chloroplast, which absorbs sunlight to be used in photosynthesis. Plants use photosynthesis to make their own food. Humans, which are animal cells, cannot make our own food, so we have to eat it because we do not have a chloroplast. The chloroplast also makes the plant green. Finally, plant cells have a large central vacuole that they use to store water. When the vacuole has no water to store, the plant cells will shrivel up and the plant will eventually die without water. Animal cells also have vacuoles, but they are much smaller because animals do not need to store near as much water. Animal cells are much different than plant cells. They do not have a chloroplast or cell walls, and they do have vacuoles, but they are much smaller. Animal cells have a cell membrane, which controls what goes in and out of the cell. As I mentioned, animal cells do not have walls because they are much more flexible. Animal cells also have lysosomes, which clean the cell and get rid of waste. I like to remember lysosomes as Lysol because they clean things. Lysosomes contain enzymes that will break down materials that the cell will get rid of. Plants use their vacuole to get rid of waste since they don't have lysosomes. On the left, you can see a microscope slide of plant cells. As you can see, they are organized into rows and are much more structured than the animal cells on the right. This is to provide structure and support. Inside both cells, though, you can see a small dark dot. That is the nucleus, meaning both of these cells are eukaryotes. Here's a Venn diagram comparing and contrasting plant and animal cells. Feel free to pause the video here to read through it. As you can see, plant and animal cells have a lot in common. They are both eukaryotes because they have a nucleus, and they are both relatively the same size. Plant cells have the 3 C's though: cell wall, chloroplast, and central vacuole. All right, that's about it for this lesson. You now know the difference between plant and animal cells and what makes each of them unique. If you have any questions, make sure you reach out to your teacher. I hope you guys have a great day.